Okay, now we're gonna use a glaze. This is actually my favorite glaze. A lot of browns to me are really orange or really kind of copper. Very few of them are just true brown, you know, just kind of a good brown, like that dark walnut will be, you know, that we've already put on the top. And because I'm not doing this all at one time, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna have to go back and add and fix it so that you guys can get to see the final result and hopefully think it's really pretty. So anyway, I usually just try to pour just a little bit out, you know, so that I'm only using just a little. This stuff goes a long way and you don't need a lot. Okay, so I forgot to mention, this is the Valspar Antiquing Glaze. That's all it is. No color, just Valspar Antiquing. It's my favorite. It's kind of got a really dark black, but it's a blackish brown, so it's just a really good, really great color. Okay, now I use a brush sometimes, a foam brush. It really, again, does not matter. You got about 15 minutes of workable time with a glaze, especially if you're wiping off with a damp paper towel. Now you don't want it to be wet because it really will wipe all of the glaze off, especially on a smooth surface. So, you know, as I work it in, you know, I'm not really, again, not worried at all about the way it looks because I'm gonna wipe it off. But now with a glaze, you can leave it on. Again, you got time. Don't worry about it. I'm putting it right beside the stain so you can actually see the difference in the finish. You know, and again, use a foam brush, use a cheap brush, use whatever you've got. Okay, so you can use a cheap brush, you can use whatever you've got on hand. Honestly, sometimes I'll just take my paper towel and dip it into the glaze and then wipe it off with the other side of the paper towel. Just a little bit, like I said, goes a long way. It is a lot thicker than a stain. You just don't need that much. So now as we start wiping it off with this damp paper towel, first of all, you know, you can see the color difference. Clearly, it's a different color. This has got a lot more green in it, a lot more black, no walnut. Now what I want you to see though, I left it on for a while so it really would age. I'm gonna go and wipe this off so I don't get it all over my clothes. So pretty much the same look already. Now if I kept wiping though, I would really start to take some of that color off. So, you know, I may or may not want to do that. Now, if you wanted to, look, see, I mean, if you did that and you really kept wiping, look how far down you're going to get. You know, that's pretty close to where we started. So you can, you know, kind of really wipe it on down. Now this guy right here is going to sort of be your best friend, a softening brush. You can just get these at your local home improvement store, hardware store, wherever. I mean, it's specifically designed to take harsh lines out of your paint finish. It's best for glaze. I've found that paint, you know, some of the bristles can come out. It's not really worth it. Just go in and get you a good paintbrush. You'll be good to go. You won't have any trouble. But this really does kind of smooth out some lines, especially if it's still workable. You know, you can twist it a little bit, or you can just kind of keep going and keep going. And it almost acts as a buffer. You know, it's not going to take a big chunk of the color out, but once you get the color how you want it, if you just keep working it, just keep going, you're going to really start to see like a really lustrous, nice finish. So I really do love the effect that it has. Let's go on and start kind of in the, let me see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just working. You got to get one of these. It's the best thing ever. It just gives it that smooth, rubbed look so that it doesn't look splotchy and kind of streaky, kind of like you just picked up a can of glaze and poured it on there and went for it. So this you need to get. Let's kind of do a little bit of the grooves just so you can see the difference. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm going to start in the groove. And then I'm going to work my way to the outer sides. And as you go, just be sure that you're getting in your groove first. And then you can wipe the smooth surface again, just like we did over on the other side of the stain. So get it on there and leave it on there for a minute, depending on the color you want. I'm going to show you on this one just that you can really take it back down to the natural color. By the way, see if I use a really damp part of the paper towel, look how it just barely gives a little color. So, you know, you may want to do that. You may want it to be more like that. Now with a glaze, I will caution you, you know, kind of soften the insides, the grooves, because you're really not going to be pleased, I don't think, with the final result. It's going to look a little, I don't know, a little, I just glazed for my first time. How do you think it looks? So, I really, really like, again, kind of white perpendicular. So I think we'll take, and you know, anytime you're working in a groove, y'all, use your finger, like stick it in the paper towel, on the sandpaper, whatever you need to do. I want that to be more subtle. I don't want it to be just super obvious. So just take it and kind of go in there a little bit. Sometimes I'll even almost wipe it off, but not, and just leave it even, just kind of like this one is, fade it out. So are you beginning to see kind of the difference? You know, they're both great. I mean, really, either one's great. You know, you've got a ton of color options for both. I think you'll be amazed when you go to your hardware store and see what colors you have. But you will see clearly, you know, take whatever you've got. If you've got your paint sample, take it with you. You know, it's like your color wheel. If you used to be big into color wheels and makeup and that kind of thing, that's what it's like. I mean, this is going to warm up your piece. A dark walnut has got a lot of yellow and gold and orange in it. Something like this, you know, that's more of an antiqued look, it's going to have a little bit more sepia tone, which is not quite black and white, but not quite this really vintage kind of brown color. So you got a ton of different options. I personally think the finishes on the smooth, honestly, that's not my favorite part. I like to notice what the glaze looks like, what it looks like in the grooves. That's how I choose what I'm going to do. For this project, I would not leave it that way. I love the way the stain looks on this piece first. And you know, maybe we'll do both. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So anyway, I hope you like it. I can't wait for you to see the final result. And I hope that you have gotten as much out of this as I hope that you do. I hope it's been beneficial for y'all. Thanks for reading.